Hey, I'm Ian from Agreeable, as I said, and they put me at the end of this block because I'm the weird one. I'm a little bit different than everybody else that's been presenting. I created an app along with my wife, co-founder, that allows basically the people doing, you got that? The people doing a side hustle. I am speaking up. I've been talking to everybody too much the last couple days. So my wife and I created an app to help people that are trying to do the side hustle, right? Because that's what we were doing. We were buying and selling things on Craigslist and trying to make some extra money. And we kept getting stood up, and it was wasting our time and killing our patience. And so we created something that we thought would help fix that. Is the sound doing okay now? Did I get loud enough? Okay. I want to show you a little thing here.
Looks like we only need to save $300 more and we'll have enough to take the kids on that trip. Absolutely, I'll meet you at 5. Work and waited for an hour.
Don't you use Agreeable?
A little bit of a delay there, but I think you guys get the idea. That is the experience that we had and the experience that a lot of our customers have had, where you're trying to do something just to get a little extra money and somebody else is taking your opportunity to make money or save money away. So what we did is we created Agreeable so that you can set a meeting with somebody where if they don't show up, at the time of the meeting, Agreeable notices, and immediately money's transferred from their account to your account for them wasting your time. So I'm actually going to switch over and show you the actual app in process here. Well, that was actually a meeting from Agreeable saying my meeting has started with Lloyd Dobler, who is this iPad right here. I set that up earlier. Nice timing, by the way. We ran this perfectly. So in the Agreeable app, we set an agreement. First off, we started texting back and forth. And I said, hey, I'm interested in, well, honestly, in FinCon rocks, but in buying whatever you're selling, right? So we start talking and say, okay, let's create an agreement. That button up at the top is the agreement. Went ahead and set the agreement, and so now the meeting is actually in progress right now. This app, iPad, and this iPhone are each being tracked by the location verification technology we have, which is patent pending right now on how we do that. And it says, are you there? Is that guy there? And at the point of the meeting plus 10 minutes grace period, if I'm not there, I'm going to have to pay for not being there. This started with the Craigslist Facebook Marketplace crowd, and people started asking us to integrate it into other areas. So we've got salons, and handymen and financial advisors. Some of them really like this. A couple, they don't because their clients just walk in and say, hi, here's my money. I like those guys. And then we have online dating was suggested. Definitely, definitely a contentious but fun way to go. So we actually have an app in the App Store now. We released earlier in the year. And people are using it, people are enjoying it, and we did one thing that we wish we'd changed. You always learn the hard way, right? We didn't do the Android and Apple at the same time. So right now what we're doing is we just released a new iPhone version Sunday, and we're about to release a new Android version here end of this year, early next year. The idea is to not just get people to pay when they're late or stand you up for your meetings, but to change the culture so that next time they show up just because they get honestly trained to do so. And I'm sorry, I keep looking down. I'm trying to make sure you guys can hear me through the microphone. All right, any questions? I'm going to keep this up so we can make sure that it says
All
we're
right,
here.
so questions, judges?
Yeah, I mean, my mind is like spinning here for all the other uses for this, but out of all the transactions that have happened so far, like what's the percentage so far that still aren't meeting up and are paying the fees for not meeting up?
How many no-shows?
Yeah, how many? Like what percentage, or are you allowed to say what
Approximately 12%.
12%. And what is the average of when you were tracking before? Is there some average of no-shows stats out there, or not really, just because?
The best we could do was surveys that we did, because there really isn't any information in that space for that. And the best we could tell, 72% of the people that were swapping, because that's who we tested, said they got stood up and wanted to fix it. 52% of that group would be willing to pay up to $5 every time to make sure they got that back.
Is there an average thing, or who sets the rate of what the penalty is?
Part of the agreement, you get to choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's a huge amount, you can say like $100 if you're trying to sell a car.
We actually have a range between $5 and $500. If I'm selling a book at the Starbucks down the street from my house, no big deal, $5, $10, I'm there.
Yeah.
If I'm taking a couch across town on a trailer and a buddy had to help me, and now I'm out pizza and beer and him ribbing me about it for 2 weeks after, if the guy's not there, I'm going to make it higher. I'm going to make it $50.
Is there a way for you to manipulate it on the other end where you're selling? I guess it's for both parties.
That's
if the seller
the cool thing
doesn't
about
show
this.
up.
It's both ways. We've got doctors and dentists wanting to do this. And we've got almost everyone we talk to wanting doctors and dentists to do this.
Yeah, no kidding. Comcast and Cox Cable too.
They're definitely on the list. They're tier 1
Okay.
in our sales strategy. Did I just confuse you right off the bat?
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say I could see the use of it for if you're selling something where there's really high demand and everybody's like, oh, I want it, and it's on Facebook or whatever, and then basically those people are buying an insurance policy to keep their first position, right?
Yeah,
because
my wife is
you're
the
making
co-founder.
them see it that way.
Her big thing is trip insurance for meetings. It's actually
Yeah.
on the website right now.
Yeah,
You think
yeah.
just like she does. Yeah.
That's really interesting because it's not just that you're wasting your time, it's that there's value. If something has no value, you miss it. But if you paid for it, you won't miss it. And if you're in the first position and you realize it's competitive for that item to sell, then you'll do it. It's interesting.
What happens if you make the agreement? No one else can chime in what they want it, right? Because it's locked. And then if they don't show up, then it unlocks. Like with Craigslist, if you put something on, you get like 100 responses, and you can order in your head, at least if there's a no-show, I have 99 other people, which is annoying, but at least you can still get to them. With this, does it shut everyone out because you have the agreement until you meet or don't meet up, and then you have to list it again?
At the moment, it's one at a time. So if you miss a meeting, you go back to the next one. You would have to do that anyway if they stood you up, but now you've got $5 or $10 in your pocket and you're not as annoyed about it. We could set it up that way, and that's a really good idea, and I think I'd like to. We actually have a business version of this coming up in the next few months too, for enterprise, where they integrate it into their HR wellness program for people showing up to meetings on time and stuff, and efficiency. And one thing they asked for in that version was some kind of queue that automatically kicks down after the meeting is either there or not.
Yeah, it's a super interesting product, and I could see the applicability with a hair salon or a massage therapy center where they're like, if you're late or you don't show up, we charge you the full fee.
Yeah.
Are you
We have
seeing
a couple
people
of
use it
those
that
that are-
charge full fee?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
they charge full fee. Right now they charge full fee, but they can't get it. Like, good luck tracking them down, right? Especially first time.
Well, they make you guarantee with a credit card right now. So
Some do, and
Yeah.
some don't. But
Yeah.
the ones we talk to want to use Agreeable because they have trouble tracking it down.
So how do you make money? Do you take a portion of the fees, or do you have to pay for the app? Where?
At the moment, it's free to use the app, get all through it. Once you create an agreement, it costs you $1. It's basically paying $1 for that insurance to make sure you get what you want. In the next version, we are switching that to just free across the board, and would take a percentage of that no-show fee.
All right, questions from the audience?
And then we have the business side, but that'll just be like a monthly or annual pay.
All right.
That is a percentage merchant fee. Yeah, and currently we're using Stripe. We're going to switch to using PayPal and Square Cash and a couple other things. Make that a lot smoother. We're just waiting on versions.
All right. As someone who's had some Craigslist and Facebook transactions that didn't go as smoothly as I'd hoped, I see the need for this. But I also think that the challenge to adoption could be getting both parties to buy in, because if you're the person suggesting it, you're sort of telling the other person, starting from a place of distrust, that maybe you won't show up, and so we both have to opt into this app to maintain credibility. So can you kind of speak to how you get both parties to agree to Agreeable without creating an environment of distrust.
Absolutely, and we've actually had time to refine this because we've had a version of Agreeable out for the better part of this year, and we've been using it. So the best way to do is just in your post say, hey, I will meet here for this. If you want to meet anywhere else, I'm happy to, but we'll have to set an agreement because I've just been burned too many times. You probably have too. I'll give you $5 off if we use Agreeable to do this, or however much. And it's been worth it to us. It's been worth it to every user we've talked to that has done the same thing. We actually, one of the best days was a few weeks after we released the app, somebody we never heard of, never seen, never talked to, we just found her ad, and in it, it said, meet me with Agreeable, I'll give you $5 off. I will only do Agreeable outside my space, outside my area.
Another question. Well, can you charge people for being late, like give them penalties for, I might have missed that. Second is, can you track the mileage and the drives so that they can keep that as a file for business logs, for travel? And third is, if they have an encounter, can you keep track of the time they're together so you can do them like for billable minutes and keep that all in one system?
Yeah, those are part of future versions. Everything you just said.
Yeah, just a quick one. Is there any way currently or plans to integrate this with, say, an Outlook or a calendar app?
Yeah, Outlook, Calendarly, all that sort of thing. We're definitely looking into those, and we have a couple partners we're already talking to. We're talking to some people on the enterprise side that integrate with SharePoint and such. So we'll have to figure out how that works with Microsoft. But definitely talking to a few. I'm really excited about a couple of them, but I can't say too much. Mostly because I'll jinx it.
As a parent of 5 teens, I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Parents docking their kids for being home later than they said they would be home.
You just made me feel so bad for not catching that myself. I have 3 small kids, and when it gets there, I want that. Absolutely.
All right. So you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just curious how many users you have. How many downloads?
We have plenty of users.
Plenty of users. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ian.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Right.
The real answer to that is we don't have Android yet, so we don't have enough. But as soon as we get the Android version out, based on iPhone usage, we'll be doing fine. I'm watching it. Thanks, guys.